Welcome to the weird world of virtual open house. And congratulations on finding it, first of all, and the links and all that. It appears to have worked. If you are here for baseball, you are in the right spot. I am Matt McGuire. I am the head baseball coach at St. Francis now, in my, I guess, fourth year, if you want to count last year as a year. This will be my fourth season here coming up. I am joined today by four of our players. I think they can talk about our program a lot better than I can. So I'll go through just a brief kind of intro of a couple bullet points here that I put together. And then I'm going to kind of turn it over to them, interview them a little bit, talk about the program, and then open it up for questions. We can take the questions on Zoom. You can also go ahead and type them into the chat. It's probably easiest if you type them into the chat, and then I can try to get to whatever we don't cover in our presentation near the end. Okay. So my guys on the call, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves real quickly. Let the people know who you guys are.
Hi, everybody. I'm Johnny Tarantino. I'm a senior at St. Francis. I play baseball, and I'm going to go play baseball at Santa Clara.
Hi, everyone. My name is David Ruscala. I'm also a senior. I'm an infielder on our team. I'm hoping to go play in the Claremont Mud Scripts program, barring my admittance to the school, but hopefully that works out. Glad to be here.
Hi, my name is Wyatt King. I'm a junior here at St. Francis, and I play outfield, and I will be going to Cal Poly if I sign senior year. So.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ryan Lee. I'm a junior, and I'm a catcher, and I'm still looking for a place to play in the future.
And you will find one. Don't worry about that, right? Don't worry about that. Just a quick little more background on myself. I'm an alumni of St. Francis. I think it's a very important piece of my story, important piece of the baseball program story that I'm an alumni. I graduated in 1998, getting a little bit further back there than I like to talk about, but it's always been a great source of pride for me to be part of the St. Francis community, to be back on campus. This is my 17th year on campus, fourth as the head baseball coach, after going to the University of Nevada. Played baseball up there for 4 years, and then we made our way back here. Again, I talk a lot about what it means to represent St. Francis and what it means to be part of our program to these guys, and expecting that they're doing a really good job of representing us wherever they go. Okay. As far as baseball goes, it's a very successful program. I think all of you guys know that. I don't have to kind of sell too many of the background stories there when talking about championships and WCAL championships and CCS championships and all those different things. Those stay on the wall, right? Those years are up there, and they're great things to talk about. But these guys that are in it now and living in this sort of changing culture and changing world that we're in, really can speak to it a lot more than I can. We do have a lot of players. 3 of the 4 on here are already planning on playing college baseball. We've had quite a few play Major League Baseball, but that's not necessarily the end goal. I always tell every single one of our players that comes to St. Francis and makes a varsity baseball team that they have the ability to play baseball at the next level. It just depends on what level that is. We've already talked about how, there's quite a few Division I kids. I think we were 8 or 9 in the last 3 years going on to Division I schools right out of high school. But every single one of them has the ability to go play at a junior college, Division II, Division III. A lot of times it's about finding the right fit and finding the best place for them to go and do that. We are extremely lucky at St. Francis to have some great athletes, and not much that we did as coaches help these guys on the screen right now get to where they are. We know that they're blessed athletically, but they are great representatives of what we do. When we talk about St. Francis baseball, we are, again, just super lucky to be able to play in some of the best facilities. These are things that you can't see today, right? The great part about open house is that you would be able to walk around and see these in person. But we have some unbelievable facilities on our campus that I definitely wanted to talk about and show. And if you haven't been there, I invite you to make sure you get out to a game this year. Yes, we are going to play baseball this year. I am, sticking with that confident, that mindset. that come, March 15th this year, a little bit later with the way the CIF has changed things up, that we will be playing baseball on Higgins Field. And so make sure that you do check out that schedule and make sure you do find a way to come on out and see us. This is a kind of a picture of our over the fence area, a place that you might not be able to see very often, where we have our hitting cage and also some mounds there over the field where we do a lot of our work. It allows us to practice 3 teams at one time on one field. Right, a very unique thing that we have, and a unique challenge, to be perfectly honest, that we have, that our freshman, JV, and varsity all kind of share this space on a daily basis. It's a challenge, yes, absolutely, but it's a challenge that we're able to overcome with good coaches, right, good coaching staffs, and flexibility on those things. Another place that you would be able to see if you were on campus is our weight room, and I like to show that because it is a very unique thing for high schools to have a weight room that is this awesome, right? For lack of better words, we have 2 full-time strength and conditioning coaches, as well as 2 full-time trainers. A big thing, a big help for our athletes that we hang our hat on a lot. And so that weight room, this would be the time of year that we should be up there, right? We're getting ready for our season and lifting and doing those sorts of things. And so our guys were talking about finding ways to get better strength wise and doing that sort of stuff, on their own, unfortunately, as we are facing this pandemic and everything that we have going with it. I also always like to talk about the WCAL. You will not find a better baseball league in Northern California. And there are maybe 1 or 2 other ones down in Southern California that can even, kind of hold a candle to what we are able to do across the board. Right, we play games from San Francisco down to South San Jose, and the teams on here you're probably all very familiar with. We wear WCAL patch on our jerseys, and we put that on all of our jerseys because of the pride that we have in representing one of the best leagues in Northern California. And competing for titles in that league every single year, is something we are also very, very proud of. And so I always like to talk about that, in these presentations. The last thing I have here before I turn it over to these guys are just sort of my expectations. There's a big difference between playing, club baseball and even, school baseball, if your school has it, and high school baseball. When you get to high school, right, we're practicing 5 days a week. When you get to, maybe 6 days a week, sometimes if we go on Saturdays, right, 2, sometimes 3 games per week, right? The normal schedule, and I'm going to talk about the normal schedule because by the time you guys get to St. Francis, we'll be back on that normal schedule, again, staying confident, is we will, tryouts are usually around Valentine's Day, right around February, 13th, 14th, somewhere in there. Those tryouts go for a week, and then we play on the freshman level until the first week in May, is kind of the normal schedule. And yes, that does go over Easter break. Yes, that does go over some other school holidays, and the expectations of being there are definitely there for those coaches. Okay? And so I want to make sure those expectations are known as we start this. And we talk about our H3, our hustle, right? Hard work and humility. That's kind of the 3 words that we hang our hat on as St. Francis baseball players, whether it's in a classroom when we're talking about the game, or whether it's in the classroom taking classes, and then all the way out onto the field, that we're always putting in that hard work, right? So that we can then treat whatever success or failure that we come across with the humility that we should, as St. Francis players. So that's kind of my spiel. That's sort of my introduction to the baseball program. And so I'm going to turn it over to these 4 guys here real quick. Again, if you have any questions, please make sure you throw them in the chat. But I'm going to tee them up, with just a simple kind of, why did you guys choose St. Francis? And we'll take maybe 2 answers and then move on to the next question. So anybody that wants to chime in on why St. Francis?
Yeah, so obviously in my middle school days, I went and actually watched a lot of St. Francis games, and I got to see some really impressive teams coming through. And I would say in particular, the one game that really made my decision was the 2015 CCS championship game. It was just a battle, and I think the Lancers showed a lot of poise in that game, and I knew I wanted to play for that program.
Awesome, thanks, Ryan.
I'll answer. So I live in San Mateo, and I honestly didn't even know what St. Francis was when I was in 8th grade. But I was close friends with Petey Halpin, who just got drafted by the Indians, and he kind of showed me around. And I was like planning on going to Sarah my whole middle school, and I was like, I'm gonna go there. And then I went to St. Francis and I shadowed him there, and I just fell in love with it. All the facilities and everything, and all the history, I just loved it, and that's why I chose it.
Awesome. Thanks, Wyatt. Wyatt brings up a good point there with shadowing, right? And it's something that, as of now, the ability to come on campus and spend a day with our students and student athletes is not going to be possible. But they are running tours. I'm sure you guys have seen that. If you do want to get on campus, our admissions department is running, or they're running family tours every day. If you can just sign up for one of those, and at least see the spots that you're going to play. It's better than nothing at this point. And hope maybe, hey, second semester, you never know. Shadowing may come back, but I don't know. I don't know about that one. My two seniors. Think back to freshman year. What was it like maybe for freshman tryouts? And what's it like? Just talk about being a St. Francis athlete a little bit.
For me, I really enjoyed freshman year. It was just really fun because kind of through the athletic program, it's really easy to make friends. And I think some of my best friends I've definitely made through athletics, whether it's been football or baseball. And then if you guys do end up coming here, I definitely recommend boys go play football. Sorry. It's just really fun. And then it's just a really good way to bond with some of your classmates.
Yeah, I totally agree with Johnny that freshman year athletics, it's lots of fun, and you meet a lot of new people that become some of your best friends. And like for baseball, it's pretty cool because freshman year there's a lot less pressure to succeed, like as in winning games and performing. Even like, of course, there's that. Like you want to do well and everything, but there's less pressure on you, and you can sort of just learn from the great coaches in the program, as opposed to really just backing up that like performance piece. You get to learn and develop a lot more.
That's really good. And that kind of goes, talks a little bit to our St. Francis athletic philosophy at that freshman level. My philosophy as the baseball coach and also the athletics, that we want kids to have a good time. We want them to enjoy sports that freshman year. Winning a freshman championship will never be the be all end all goal of any of our freshman athletic teams. Playing time is still always an issue, right? Always something that wants to be talked about and asked about. And playing time, what we always talk about on that freshman level, it's going to be fair, but not necessarily equal, right? Everybody will not play an equal amount of time, but we do try and make sure that freshman year there is a good experience had, and we all know that just sitting on the bench for 22 games is not a good experience. And so, getting on the field, having those good times is really important. Johnny kind of hit on one thing there, and I think Wyatt and Ryan can speak to this also. Playing multiple sports. Me as the baseball coach, I will 100% always promote my guys playing multiple sports. I say this to them, during tryouts, during end of season meetings, all these different things, that I want athletes in the baseball program. And the only way that you can be athletes is if you find ways to compete. Right. And the only ways you can find ways to compete are in games, in matches, and whatever other sport it is that you're doing. So I will always support those guys. And so maybe Johnny, Ryan, Wyatt, not you, Riscala, but can talk a little bit about what it's like to play multiple sports at St. Francis. Maybe talk about what you guys do and how it's helped your baseball careers.
I think, sorry, go ahead, Ryan.
In past years, I've played football and I've wrestled. So I've been pretty much doing sports all year, even starting in summer. I definitely think it's great. Freshman year, you definitely get to meet tons of new people. Like Johnny said, football is definitely important. Even if you don't want to go tackle guys, you can still be out there and make friends. But for sure, like, being out in sports every day kind of gives a great sense of community. And I also, it's kind of like, it's nice to be able to take a few hours sometimes to just, go and run around, talk to your friends. And then after, you can get to your homework and start to work then.
I think for me, just playing 3 sports. I played freshman year. I played football, basketball, then baseball, and just playing all three. It kind of really taught me how to become more competitive with everything. Because just having the goal set in mind, like, oh, I want to do my best in all 3 sports, just really helped me out, and I think it's helped me got to the point where I am now.
I played football and baseball freshman year, and I wasn't like a super crazy football player, but I just wanted to try it out, and I met a ton of people, a ton of friends. And it's also good because it's hard to, even though I love baseball, it's hard to play year round. And playing football kind of gives you that mental break where you can just like go out, play for 3 or 4 months, and then get back into baseball, or vice versa if you're a football player. But I just think it's great to play both.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you guys. That was great. I mean, good perspective. A couple questions as we just, I'm supposed to end at 10:15. I will stay on as long as you guys have questions, but just knowing that at 10:15, if you want to jump to another one, you definitely can do that. A couple things that have come up in the chat. And if you have some more, raise hand, unmute, whatever it is. A lot of questions about how many players make the freshman team. And the response to that I always try to give is we will keep as many that can contribute. We have I think 26 jerseys available, right? That's kind of what we have at the freshman level, and so that's the max we can keep. But if we really had to, I'll get some t-shirts printed, right? If we end up with 30 or 32 kids that can really play. Historically, I would say it's fallen somewhere between the 19 to 24 range. That's kind of where we've always fit. They figure out a way to get the most players in that way and do all those different things. Also, historically, people want to know how many kids try out. In my 4 years, we've gone from the lowest was 42 and the most was 60. And so that's kind of the numbers that sort of show up there for freshman tryouts. Yes, there are cuts, obviously, if we have 60 coming out, and that was another one of the questions in there. So sure, Anne, go ahead.
So my question is, so I was in the basketball video meeting as well, and they mentioned that the basketball season was pushed back. And so I want to know how that is going to go and play, because if the basketball and the baseball, their schedules.
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. So this year on campus, right, with the whole shutdown and COVID and all those different things, the 3 seasons have been condensed to 2. And so this year, right, on campus, basketball and baseball both start on March 15th. This is something that you, as parents of 8th, 7th, 6th graders, I'm not exactly sure how old everybody is in the room here, but this is something that you should, knock on wood, knock on anything that I've got around me, should not have to deal with, right? This is a very unique year for us. It's a very unique situation where all these things have been sort of condensed to that March 15th timeline. But again, it's not a long-term plan. It's not something that will happen in the future, hopefully. Yes, this year it's unfortunate that they are going to be together, but that's again hopefully something we won't have to deal with here. That makes sense.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Question just came in about offering any sort of camps or anything like that for 8th graders. We always run a summer camp, usually goes in conjunction with the summer at St. Francis. Those kind of first 2 weeks of summer school, we'll do a camp in the afternoons. But as of right now, there is not going to be. We used to do hacks and hurlers too on weeknights. At St. Francis. All of those things are sort of put on hold right now with the campus being shut down. But as soon as they are available, we will definitely send out communications about that if we do start those up. Just going through the chat here. How many players typically go on to Division I baseball? It kind of varies. It sort of varies. That year that Ryan was talking about, 2015, there were something like 8 or 10, something that went straight to Division I from high school, which is just insane, right? Insane amount of talent on those teams. But 2 years ago, I think there were 4 maybe 5. And then last year there was 1. This year we have 2, 3. We had another one drafted, and all those different things, right? So it just kind of varies depending on the time. But as I said at the very beginning, I really truly believe that anybody that makes the varsity team at St. Francis has the ability to go play college baseball somewhere, right? Somewhere. Division I, that's the top, right? That's the elite of the elite. And it's also, with this whole pandemic thing, being crunched down even more number wise. But again, hopefully not something that you guys will have to worry about in 5 or 6 or 7 years. But you never know, right? You never know. And so we do pride ourselves on kids that go on, right? Kids that go to these different colleges and represent their families and us. But it just sort of varies depending on the year. All right, it is 10:15, so if you guys do want to jump off and go, I thank you for coming. I thank you for stopping by and listening to our little chat here. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to email me, and I will stick around too and answer questions if you have some more. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. My guys, you can jump off. Let's be back at like 10:50, okay? 10:50 for the next one. Make sure everybody's back in the room by a little bit before that. Thanks, fellas.
Thank you.
Any
Coach.
questions with a couple people left on there?
Yeah, my name's Bill Taylor.
Hi, Bill.
Howdy. My grandson was already also on, but my question is trying to get him he plays every position because he's able to. Do you help the kids learn one position, 2 positions to make them more competitive for their future?
Yes and no. We have, by the time they sort of get to the varsity level, let's say, right, the varsity level, they've probably naturally narrowed it down to 1, 2, 3 at the absolute most. I would say positions. What we do at kind of at the freshman level is we break them down, by infielders, outfielders, right? Not necessarily specific positions, but infielders and outfielders, and then kind of move our guys around and put them in the best spots to be successful. But yes, right, there is definitely position specific training that happens on all of our levels, forcing them to choose. I feel like it's kind of a natural thing. They sort of eventually identify. Right now when they're little, they're still kind of bouncing around and playing wherever is needed on the teams that they're playing, and the good athletes obviously can do that, and so keep doing that, right? I would definitely not force them into doing that too soon. I found that it's kind of a natural progression that happens as they move up. They identify what's best for them, and then they sort of head that direction.
Makes sense. What about batting? Do you have hitting clinics or anything like that?
So we've done hacks and hurlers is what we called it. It was an evening session that kids, 6th, 7th, 8th graders could come to. Unfortunately, with all the restrictions in place right now, campus has not been opened up to non-St. Francis athletes yet. When it is, we could start those up.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Take care.
You too. Thanks for coming.
Bye.
All right. Deborah, anything there? Or maybe just got logged out. Okay, I'm going to stop it.